Well, Lance Burdett, I've spoken to him many a time on the show. He was a police officer for 22 years, I do believe, and then he became their lead crisis negotiator. We're doing our best to get a hold of him. He's running something down in Wellington at 1:30 this afternoon when I called him. He did say he'd give me 15 minutes before then, but he's not answering the phone. Christine Rankin, she will answer the phone. In fact, she'll be on video, which is brilliant. Love talking to Christine, Topol counsellor, political commentator. We have got a lot to talk about today, let me tell you. And you know what the topic du jour we will start with. And yesterday, it's just been one of those weeks. I've just realised we can't get a hold of my first guest, and yesterday tried to get a hold of good old King Clearwater. Yesterday was National Day of Reflection. There were quite a few events around the country, about 60, I believe. This was for the survivors of abuse in state and faith-based care. And Ken is a survivor. He's an advocate, and he was at a function yesterday. We did our best to get a hold of him for like the full hour yesterday, but he obviously was stuck on stage, and we didn't get to talk to him. But it's really important what he has to say, and especially what survivors a year on after the government apologised and said there'll be redress and all the things that came with it. There are a lot of victims say that the government is not holding up their end of the bargain. So Ken says he's available today, so we shall see. We're going to try and get a hold of him. It's just one of those weeks, Kelly. I mean,
it really is. Yeah.
My first guest.
Usually we have, like a set Wednesday or something is usually tough and all that sort of thing, and a lot of people busy or away or unavailable. But yeah, it definitely has been one of those weeks. I think it's we draw closer to the year. I think most people have about 5 weeks of work left. I think they're just running towards the light at the end of the tunnel with blinkers on, So.
Yeah. What, even our guests?
Yeah, probably. Oh, maybe they just don't like us.
Could be. Look, I can live with that, but just be honest. I'm an honest girl. Just say no. Leah, the cricket's about to start. Nelson, ABs versus Windies. Stu, thanks for telling me. Don't take this personally. I can't stand cricket. I don't like cricket. Oh, no. And no, I don't love it. Cricket is just one of those things. People say to me that one daily is great. It's fun, it's fast.
These are the T20s, aren't they? That's the last
is that
T20
the same
or something?
One day is
It's not even a full day. I don't know.
Yeah, no, still not. No, 20 minutes of cricket's too much. But that's me, like people don't like certain sports. Crickets, I played it at school even. And I did one season and I was like, nah, I'm out. Yeah. But look, people love it and that's cool. So Stu, thank you. No, I think you guys are off here on Android. I think Kelly checked and I think we're all up and running. So yes, I think we're okay there, team. Lotto. Oh, hey, so Lotto didn't go. So that means this Saturday record-breaking 55 million. 55. I thought there was a limit of 50 mil. Why was that sitting in my head? I don't know, 55 million now, and it's got to be one. The big question is, will one lucky player take it all, or will the prize be shared among several winners? And it must be one draw. If there is no Division 1 Powerball winner, the jackpot then rolls down to the next division, as you know, where there will be winners. There must be 12. There's been 12 must-be-won draws in Lotto's history. 7 of those have been shared by multiple winners. The last 3 big 50 million must-be-won draws were all shared, and I really hope it's shared on Saturday. I do. I don't know, 55 million is a lot for one person. The most recent 50 million must-be-won draw was last year in June. And the jackpot rolled down to second division. 7 lucky players each took home 7.18 million. I will be happy with that. So, yeah, we will actually we'll get more into that tomorrow. We're going to talk to Lotto. And, 55 million. All right, as the fallout continues following the damning IPCA report that showed the highest-ranking police officers in New Zealand ignored anonymous allegations that former Deputy Police Commissioner Tthe McSkimming was a sexual predator. Instead of investigating whether the sex claims could be corroborated or not, the emails sent by the young woman were used by police as evidence to prosecute her for an harassment campaign against McSkimming. And while Police Commissioner Richard Chambers says he's been doing a clean-up of the top brass since he came into the job, and of the 3 remaining officers identified by the IPCA, he's called in a KC to investigate their employment. But the questions remain for the government, police, and for former Commissioner Andrew Costa. Where to now? Lance Burdett was a former senior police inspector, and became the lead crisis negotiator. He's been on our show quite a few times. It's always good to catch up with Lance. Good afternoon, my friend.
Good to talk with you again. Sorry about that. I was supposed to be with you before this, but, it's been a busy couple of days.
Busy. Well, yes, these last couple of days, Lance, we'll lead with that. When the story broke, what was your first thoughts?
I couldn't believe it.
Could you not?
I just found it, no, I thought it was unfathomable. I thought, what the heck, and what's happened? What's going on? And so, no, I just didn't see it coming because, well, having been in the police for 22 years, you have the utmost trust in any organisation and leadership, but certainly at that top level. And given that I had worked with the then commissioner, who's under the microscope at the moment, I've always found him to be honest and of high integrity. So I couldn't believe it. And now I'm finding out all these things. So, I have to say these days I'm not surprised because it did surprise me.
Did you personally know Tthe McSkimming?
No, I didn't. No, I've spoken with him a couple of times, but he's done presentations at the police college when I've been there.
But you knew Andrew Costa, correct?
Yes. I worked with him.
You've said he was a good person.
I can only deal with people as if they deal with me, right? So I always found him to be, always took time to speak with me. I was in charge of police intelligence at the time, police criminal intelligence, and he was an area commander. And we talked frequently, and particularly in meetings. And I always respected him when he spoke, which wasn't often. People stopped and listened. He was very and quite an intelligent. I mean, this guy was somebody who worked with the Crown, right? So he's a Crown prosecutor, from my understanding. So he's not what I'd call a slug. He was an intelligent person. And I knew that he had high integrity because of some of his personal leanings. And so it shocked me even more.
Yeah. Because, I mean, someone that's supposedly got high integrity and held such a high rank, to bring serious criminal investigation against him, I mean, one has to say, he obviously was protecting Jevon and wanted the job application process of his friend to go through, and that and ignored investigations or quashed any investigations. That Lance isn't high integrity, is it?
Absolutely not. No, you can't defend it if this is what, and we can't disbelieve the IPCA because they do their job thoroughly, and so. What we're seeing here, is it corruption? Is it collusion? Is it incompetency? Well, I guess that'll come out in due course, and that will be, if there is going to be a court case, that will come out in the court case.
So I see Costa has now got legal representation, and I think even a public relations, company. It seems he wants to fight this, Lance. I mean, what should he be doing? Should he be speaking? Should he be apologising to the woman instead of just hiding in his house?
Well, now that he's got counsel, he has to work through them. So they will say nothing. That's their first. That's the first line. Once you've got a lawyer, they say nothing and let the process work its way through in due process. Right. So that's the right thing to do. Now you've said that he's defending it. Well, either that is because he's innocent or he's fighting to survive. So again, it's pure conjecture until we find out a few more details about what the purpose of his is. But he would have to have a lawyer to get on from now, certainly because of the close scrutiny that he's been under. And I've heard and read and seen, but it seems that the top six people at the very top, were all in the same group. Well, I've never seen anything like it. I've never heard it here, but certainly in Australia. And now in Australia, it happened in Queensland, but I have to say, not like this. It was actually police officers that were being a bit nefarious. And so there was something called the Triple C. No, not the top brass. Never seen it with the top brass. You'd find it's very rare. The Triple C, which is the Crime and Corruption Commission, is now full-time. So they have a watchdog like the IPCA with a little bit more teeth.
Right.
And
Hey,
where
Lance,
you have to answer their questions. You've got no option.
yeah. This coincides with news that 120 road policing officers are under investigation for falsifying 30,000 breath
Yes.
tests. Now, I know these are two very different events, but one wonders, do we have a problem in the police?
I've linked them the only way I know through my experience now, and I think it was around 2011 to 2013. Commissioner Marshall introduced something called, now it has been called refreshment, but what it was voluntary redundancy and review of positions. And so, and it's known, it's on the record that he did actually offer senior staff and staff that have been around for a long time, experienced staff, a full year's salary to take retirement. Right, and so that we lost over 2 to 3 years. And the reason I know this is because I asked if I could get it. And I said, well, I'd like to take that year's salary, please, and I was declined. So it was sent to certain people, and because of that, a lot of experience. Now, when you've got experience in an organisation and you've been around for a long time, it means you've been under scrutiny. Every police officer in the police within 5 years will have been under 1 or 2 or 3 investigations. They are the hardest they are on themselves. How can I say that? Because I used to investigate police officers through professional standards. I did that for a period of time. And they are harder on their own because of we have to hold our heads high, and we have to be able to, we're out there accusing people of all sorts of things. So we have to maintain our integrity and trust and confidence in what we do. So police are harder on their own, and rightfully so. And to have things like this happen, now, systemic failures can happen from a number of reasons. We're not following systems and processes. Why? Because we don't know them, because we want to ignore them, or because of other things such as, we talk about corruption a lot, but this is not corruption from what I can see. This is a lack of integrity, a lack of poor decision making based on perhaps ideology rather than what the information is in front of you.
Isn't it corruption, Lance, when you've got 6 of the
Well,
top working together?
Corruption usually involves money and power.
Well,
I guess it
this
did
is
involve
power. You can't get a higher
yeah.
power than the top brass of the police.
I'm trying to
they
be
were
nice
the
here,
power.
but I was a police officer, so I've got that bias, right? And the integrity is everything. Integrity is
Lance,
everything, and it has to be.
I know you're busy, but I just want one more to point out. Richard Chambers says there will be a new Inspector General appointed. He's already asked the Public Service Commission to conduct a performance improvement review into the police, focusing on integrity and conduct. He says he's determined to restore the public's trust. I think these are all good moves. I like Richard Chambers. I don't know him, but I think he's doing all the right moves. Would you agree?
Worked with him. He is the right person.
Yeah.
When he was made commissioner, we've got somebody with integrity. We've got somebody, and he's come out and he said that, right? Within hours, he was on the national news saying, "This is what I'm going to do," and he does talk about my people, and he does talk about me. So it's me and my, which is none of this our and we. He said, "This is what I'm going to do about my people," and he's the person. Look, I'm going to stake my career, my life on the fact that he will change things very, very quickly. Because he's not a person who will put up with nonsense.
No. I was talking about him the other day, and I said, look, I don't want to sound all airy-fairy, but I said I can just see it in him. I can feel the way he talks that, he's got
empathy. He understands people, right? He knows people, and he also knows the dark side of people.
I said if he lets us down, I'm going to have to punch him on that very square jaw of his, but of course I won't. Lance, before I let you go, Gavin's quickly asked me to ask you that Tthe McSkimming, is it true that Jevon came from an era where police management were recruited from outside, like non-police managerial roles, that he didn't rise through the ranks?
No, he came through the ranks. He was he was about 3, maybe 5 years after me. He came through the police college, absolutely. Yeah, but he rose very, very, very quickly. He took on roles that nobody else would want. And one of them was, the irony is one of them was to do with the computer system.
Oh, Lance, jeez. All right. Look, we'll leave it there because I know you've got a what are you doing? You're running
I'm
something.
jumping
very
up on
shortly.
stage. Yeah, I'm just about to do a keynote. Yeah.
Okay. Look, I appreciate the
All right.
time, Lance. That is Lance Burdett, who is a former police officer, inspector, and as I said, lead crisis negotiator.